Hello, my name is Frozen Charlie, and this is going to be Teslagrad any percent. Start off the game by a quick save and quit in order to reload and skip the initial cutscene, and then we'll be starting into the beginning section. So this part is mostly just going to be movement optimization, moving through the level. The only two pieces of speed tech in this section are attempting to stay on these downward slopes, which accelerates our movement slightly, and then a late jump, which will be coming up. Throughout the game, we'll be manipulating magnetism, and it's going to be very basic. Here's the late jump, by the way. It allows us to get on these scales. Anyway, we will be manipulating magnetism. There will be two different colors, blue and red, and they function exactly like normal magnets do. Opposites attract. There's a positive and negative pole. Opposites attract and similar ones repel. Beginning part is relatively quiet. There's not all that much going on besides the movement, and not all that much to explain either. Previously at a GDQ, we just had them read donations. I can also explain the plotline during this. Mechanics will be explained further throughout the game. There's one more trick coming up that it's probably about 75% consistent. If we jump at the right time here, we get a little bit of a boost. Exactly like that. And we won't even actually see that guy behind us, Oleg. But we will fight him later, so that's all that matters. So we'll be heading into the castle itself at this point, where we'll be picking up shortly we'll be picking up the first item, and also encountering the first bit of mech. We'll be running into a spider, which will allow us to charge ourselves with magnetism, and allow us to propel ourselves through specific fields. Sorry for the Discord messages. That's me, not you. So we charge ourselves with magnetism from that spider, and it will allow us to accelerate upwards. We'll be doing any percent, so the last time that I did this run at a GDQ, we were doing 15 scroll, and we had to collect all of the scrolls in order to get through the door. This one, we won't need to be doing that. We'll be collecting the first item right here. This is going to be the magnetic gauntlets. And that will allow us to punch things to different colors. So blue to red, opposite attract, similar ones repel. Very simple concept. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to change that to red so that the other block repels downwards and gives us leeway to move up. This next section we'll be using we're going to be trying to float over. Yeah, exactly like that. And then we floated too fast. Normally you would have to bring down that bridge, but instead we just utilized the grub, the iron mice, they're actually called, to fly across. This part is actually way more difficult than it looks. If you get hit by one of these spiders, you will get propelled directly into the electricity and die immediately. We'll be coming up on the first boss of the game. Furnace. Couldn't remember his name for a second. And he is the box monster, the trash monster. you have to jump across the conveyor belt so you don't fall in. And propel the magnetizer boxes into his mouth. The only way to speed up this fight is to try to stack the boxes. If you do that, then you can use the repelling magnetism to rocket them into his mouth. It gets more difficult the faster the conveyor belts go. So after every phase, conveyor belts go faster and faster. Third phase, it is pure luck if it actually happens. So we'll be going into the third phase. At this point, we're going to try and stack the boxes, but it's sometimes a fruitless endeavor. Usually it is a fruitless endeavor. So we'll be coming up on the blink boots up next, right after we beat this boss. That will allow us to do exactly what you believe it is. We can blink across. That will also completely break the game, allowing us to do new tricks. Skipping over triggers. So as you see, I am blinking. There is a silhouette of where I used to be. That will allow it so that that entire pathway, I hit any triggers. Anything that I hit will actually trigger. That's a convenience factor, but also we can trick the game into believing that our hitbox is directly behind us, or on the opposite end of where we came from. So the first instance of that will be just before the first boss, or the second boss of the game, the bird boss, and it will allow us to actually completely skip that boss. This part right here, I always tout this as my favorite skip of the game. It took me a very long time to get that when I first started playing the game, and it feels so fluid once you do it properly. So once we go through this tree section, we'll be coming up on the first boss. I'll try to explain the trick as we get to it. So right there, there's normally a trigger there that would put down the walls, preventing us from exiting the fight or leaving this area. So instead, we'll just EBH, which is extended blink hitbox, right out of that, and skip right over that trigger. I didn't actually need to collect that because it's 70%. Here we're going to do a bounce if you blink at the right time, you will be able to bounce off of objects and gain upwards momentum from it. And we clip right through that section. And we've skipped over an entire factory portion. Right here, we will line up and jump through that pole, rather than having to go through that extremely long puzzle like you would normally have to do. This is another instance that we will be using EBH, the extended blink hitbox, where we alter the side of where you see the hitbox happening. We're going to use it to go straight through this door. There we go. And then once we die, we should end up right on the opposite end. So we don't have to wait for the spider to open the door for us. We're going to be coming up on the third boss of the game here, Oleg. He is the guy that you should have seen chasing us at the beginning, but because we got the trick, the small bounce, you did not. What we'll be doing is using this cape to reflect bullets back at him. He shoots magnetic bullets at us, and we will be using our cape to deftly shoot them back into his face by lining up in a perfect position. So, right here, fire it right back at him. Normally you would have to go up onto that top platform and press the switches in order to open up the gate, but because we align ourselves just so, it angles right into him. Now this third one, you do not know what color it will be, so you have to pause buffer until you know what color. That's out. This is my favorite section of the game. There's no huge tricks in it. This is the hamster dance. It's a very fluid and fun section to do. Only a few things that we can do to speed it up, but there is a way to do this without the ball itself. It's about 1 or 2 seconds faster, but it's extremely difficult and not marathon safe whatsoever. Probably just talk about Pepsi at this point. How wonderful Pepsi is. Delicious it is. The usual things. And this is Richard. He's our good friend. We have never been able to figure out how to skip him. So he's a dick. Because he walks from there, back there, or here, back to there. And then finally, up here. And then he has to walk all the way back over here. So we wait. And we wait for Richard the Dick. And he's let us through. Thanks, Richard. You're a good friend. Clip right through that section right there. It's momentum based. So if you slow down within that power, you will not be able to get that clip effectively. And you will have to go over the normal route, well, normal-ish route, which takes about an extra 10 seconds. Now we just need to climb this tower and collect the final item of the game, which will allow us to fire magnetism rather than just have our gauntlets. And then we'll be coming up on another boss, the second to last one. This is Glaric's orb. The smoothly routed ball bosses. The plot of this game, actually, is where my race of people discovered magnetism and how to manipulate it. The best guess that I have is that he's kind of pissed that we've left him in place. You know, my race of people have been completely killed, so. Sucks too. Now there's a mini cutscene, and then we do what makes this any percent actually work, and we use another EVH in order to go through the wall. And there's a gate that normally requires you to have 15 scrolls to open, but instead we just jump right through it. We set our checkpoint. Do the opposite, save and quit. And the door's open. It assumes that we have the 15 scrolls after we Now this will be the final section of the game. Once we get past the scrolls, or the drills, I don't know why I said scrolls. It's fine. Well, this is our first glimpse of the final boss himself, the king. Evil Patrick Stewart. That's our dad. He went to go kill the king and he got trapped. And we're trapped too, actually. It's the king's thing. He drops the bridge. And people die down here. See? That's another one that got trapped. Luckily for us, Oleg has now contemplated his life and is going to actually help us out. So we get out of that hole, and now we're going to go fight the final boss. Now the final boss is extremely slow, clunky, RNG dependent, and you can lose several minutes based on that RNG, regardless of how well you play. It's pretty terrible. Nobody likes doing them whatsoever, and I apologize for that. So we're just going to skip right over them with an EBH and get to the final wall, get to the final cutscene, and that's time. Thank you very much.